Is Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas still worth your vacation time?
We just took a Christmas cruise on her and we're giving you our honest, no-holds-barred review.
We ranked the food, entertainment, service, value, and the ship itself on a scale of 1 to 5 to help you decide if it's the right ship for your next vacation.
Now, Liberty was once one of the biggest ships in the world, and while it's now considered mid-size, it still has a lot to offer since its 2016 refurbishment.
So let's dive into the scores.
Now, if you find this review helpful at all, just be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more cruise information every week.
We're going to dive right into the ship's condition, but make sure you stick around for our entertainment rating.
We actually had a pretty big disagreement on the score there, and you're definitely going to want to find out why.
But let's get started with the ship itself.
Okay, first we're going to talk about the age of the ship, and it's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's an older ship, and we noticed there was some things walking around that needed addressed. We found a railing in one of the elevators that was broken. Our room was the drawers on one side. None of them would shut. I had to jimmy them a little bit. Our bathroom the mirrors had some wear on them and stuff.
It was pretty tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, you could see walking around the ship that, it's starting to show her age. I mean, she's been going for 10 years now. And so I did read recently that it is going into dry dock soon. And hopefully Royal Caribbean will address some of the maintenance issues. I'm not sure what they'll do with the core, but it definitely could use a bit of a refresh.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of the cabin, we had a guaranteed interior cabin. So we did not pick our room and it was interior. And I thought it was really, really small. I couldn't even walk around the side of the bed. I had to crawl to the end of the bed to get out of it, which was really kind of uncomfortable and just not something I really enjoyed very much.
No, they did have a couch, which was nice.
Did have a couch, which is nice.
We have had some interior cabins that didn't even have a couch, so that was a little bit of a perk. One of the other things was they didn't have any plug-ins next to the bed, so we were running like 10-foot extension cords from the.
We have a lot of things to charge.
Yeah, we were, and we had cords extensions everywhere. So, but yeah, there was some issues there.
It's showing its age. You can tell with some of the newer ships, they include more power outlets, especially by the bed and things like that. And this is another thing that being on an older ship, you kind of have to come to expect. Now, one of the things I really do love about this Freedom class of ship is how they are organized. Royal Caribbean really hit it out of the ballpark with these. It flows so well. Everything is laid out really well, and the crowd flow works so well. You don't even feel crowded, except for the buffet, but like every cruise ship is going to be crazy at the buffet. But I was really surprised because it was a Christmas cruise. There were a lot of families and such, and I never really felt like it took us very long to get anywhere, either walking or taking the elevators.
Yeah, the elevators always seem to be able to get on pretty quick. And then also the pool deck flowed very well. You never really had a big problem finding a place to sit or a lounge chair. There was a lot of hot tubs, and then like in the adult area, a lot of shady areas in the adult only pool area. So yeah, really good flow. And then down on the promenade, lots of fun places. You've got Cafe Promenade, you've got Sorrento's, and then a bunch of bars down there as well. So just kind of a fun place.
The promenade is really the heartbeat of the ship, especially at night. And so here's a good pro tip for you. If you're going to one of the parties they have down in the promenade and you want to sit down, maybe you're tired or whatever, make sure you get there early because there is just not enough seating down in that area for the big parties that they have. Yeah. So pro tip on that, get there early if you want a seat. So now let's reveal our scores for the ship. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I was thinking it's really tired. I was a little bit turned off by some of the, little maintenance things, and some of it's little stuff, but it just, after a while, it did kind of add up. And I thought, boy, I'm kind of glad it's going into dry dock. It really needs a bit of a refresh.
Oh, you're a little harsher than I was. I gave it a 4. And that's because I love the Freedom class ships. I love how they flow. and how they don't feel busy. And I know that it's going to probably be going into dry dock soon, and hopefully some of those things get addressed. But overall, I just love those ships. So there you go. Now we're going to dive into the entertainment. And they had a variety of entertainment on this ship that made some really fun options for the nights.
They did have a lot of interesting things on the schedule. They had a theater show on Liberty of the Seas. This particular theater show was Saturday Night Fever, which we didn't get to see most of it. Unfortunately, our dinner ran a little longer than we kind of had allotted for, and they only had it once. Yeah. And so we popped in at the tail end of it, but I was a little disappointed we didn't get to see the whole thing. We saw Grease on Independence of the Seas and really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
so
that was a little bit of a letdown, but then they had another comedian juggler, Adam Cario, I think his name was. Might have butchered that. But
sorry about that, Adam. You were good.
He was good. He was very entertaining, and usually juggling's not my thing, but the way he did it and the way he mixed some comedy in there led for some very entertaining evenings on that.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. Now, of course, one of our favorite things to do when we're on a ship is the silent disco. We love sitting there listening to many different people singing different songs at the same time and dancing. It's tons of fun. And also on Royal Caribbean, it's always fun to watch the ice shows. They certainly keep you going, and it's sometimes crazy to think they're doing those stunts on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Yikes. Anyway.
Yeah, and those ice skating shows are down in Studio B. But now, if you've ever seen any of our past videos, you would know that we just love those 70s and 80s nights, those rock nights. And on this ship, it was no different. They had a really cool and fun 80s night in the promenade. And it was just a blast. And
this one wasn't just 80s. This one was 70s, 80s, and 90s. Yeah, so they had a nice mixture.
Yeah, and they even had a guy out there with like a big wig on and a plastic guitar, I think, playing some, and just kind of having a lot of fun. So.
It was just a lot of fun to see everyone singing and dancing to those great classic hits. So always a crowd pleaser on there, and it really made the evening fun. All right, so now for the scores. On this one, I gave it a 3 out of 5, but I want to explain why. It wasn't that I thought the entertainment itself was bad. I really struggled with the scheduling. I felt that we were constantly running. Yeah. We were coming in halfway through things just because of the way things were scheduled. And so that's what I didn't like. And I don't know if it's because it was a 3-day cruise and they were trying to squish so much in, but I think I'd love to see the scheduling spread out more so that I can see more than one thing in an evening.
Yeah, they did try to squish a lot of stuff into 3 days, good or bad. I mean, some people love that. But I really did enjoy the entertainment, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 just because I did enjoy, the juggling show and the 80s parties and so on.
Now, our dinner reservations might have made us miss most of Saturday Night Fever, but was the food actually worth missing the show for? Absolutely. Let's talk about why the main dining room was the star of our trip.
We had my time dining, anytime dining.
It's not anytime dining because we had to be there in a certain window, which was a little bit weird, but we did end up at the same table each night with the same wait staff, which is something we really love. We really like talking to the people. Yeah. I also thought the food was excellent. Some highlights for me, the chicken parmesan was amazing. Shrimp, always a favorite. And I really enjoyed the desserts of the carrot cake and the lemon tart. They were real standouts for me.
Yeah, you mentioned that. And for myself, I really loved the lasagna. And then one night, I think it was the first night, they had prime rib, which I really enjoyed. It was tender and it had a lot of flavor too.
The dining staff is always excellent. We like to sit and talk to the dining staff. And they also put on the last night, they put on a really cool show where they were dancing and singing, and that was a ton of fun.
It was kind of long, too.
It was. It went on for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. And then they had I think it was one of the chefs. He did a dance or something. It was really cool and fun, and everybody was videotaping.
I don't remember seeing that on a Royal Caribbean ship before. Maybe we've just missed it. But yeah, we really enjoyed it. It was kind of a fun show.
It was. Now, the other thing, place we spent a lot of time was in the Windjammer. And like many Royal Caribbean ships, it was incredibly busy during the mornings and sometimes during lunch too.
And it's really hard to find a seat. That's always been my biggest frustration with the buffet, especially on Royal Caribbean. There just never seems to be enough seating.
Yeah. Yeah, matter of fact, they came over the loudspeaker a couple of times and said, if you're done, please move so that other people can sit. However, they had some really good food there. They had a Philly cheesesteak sandwich there that I really enjoyed on embarkation day when we got on the ship.
I really enjoyed the make your own taco bar that they had. And I really enjoyed that. So yeah, the food I thought on this one, especially in the buffet, was excellent.
Yeah, and don't forget Sorrento's down on the promenade if you're looking for a snack here and there.
Yeah, always nice for a late night stat.
So, what did we give this for a rating?
I gave it a 4.5. The food itself I thought was fantastic. There's always one or two things where you may not enjoy it, but that's personal taste. My biggest frustration is always just how crowded the Windjammer is. I hope they do something to maybe ease that out.
Yeah, and for me, I did enjoy almost all the meals. I gave it a 4 because, and the only reason I kind of downgraded a little bit is because of the breakfast buffets. Buffets are always kind of a dime a dozen, and this one's no different. So yeah, just a 4 for me. So next we're going to talk about service. And we've already mentioned how great the dining room staff was, but that level of service extended throughout the entire ship, I thought.
Yeah, I would agree. Really want to give a shout out to our room steward, Bren. He was really nice and always added a nice personal touch.
And then also the bar service, I thought they did a great job.
Extra shout out to the bar service.
Yeah, they were quick and they always seemed like they had some fun doing their job.
Yeah, they were friendly and some of them were dancing to the music and it was really a lot of fun to see them enjoying the day as well. Plus, drinks are fast and that always is nice when you're on a cruise. And we really enjoy Royal Caribbean's hospitality. Yeah. They really do service very well.
They do. They do a great job. And so it's probably not going to be a big surprise to anybody. But we've always thought that crew and staff do such a great job. So I'm going to give them a big old 5.
I'm going to have to agree with you. Big old 5.
Now, the service from the crew was a flawless 5 out of 5, wasn't it? But when it comes to the overall value, this is where things get a little complicated. So let's talk about the pricing.
All right. So this was a 3-day holiday cruise. It was the time between Christmas and New Year's. And it cost us $1,425 for an interior room. Ouch.
Yeah, that's kind of
It was some pretty hefty sticker shock when we got this one. Now, let's explain the itinerary to kind of get to that price. The itinerary for this cruise was Coco Cay and Nassau, which, would normally not bring up that price tag. I think what brought up the expense of this cruise were two things. One was the holiday. You've got schools out, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing was this was supposed to be the opening day for Royal Beach Club in Nassau. And
that's why we actually booked it.
That's actually why we booked it. And it certainly would explain why the price tag was what it was because it was going to be one of the first ships there. However, Royal Caribbean changed the opening day like really last minute. They did a soft opening like about 10 days earlier, which for us kind of deflated it. We were a little frustrated about that. Now, if you want to learn more about Royal Beach Club, click on the video. We'll have it attached here. It really was a great place to go. But it did add to the price and the dynamic pricing. And I think that's something people in cruising don't always understand is what goes into setting the prices for these things.
And Royal Caribbean does a lot of dynamic pricing.
No, they all do.
They all do, but Royal seems to be really heavy into it. So
if you're going to be traveling over holiday, you got to understand and expect that you're going to pay more than if you do that exact same itinerary at a different time.
Yeah. So scoring on this. This was a little tricky because, once again, there's some of those caveats in there. What did you give it?
I gave them a 3.5. I still thought it was a bit pricey, but again, we were willing to pay it because we thought, hey, first ship to Royal Beach Club, that was what we really got brought in, which again, I think really was the frustration when they ended up opening it early.
Yeah, and I gave it a 3, just a little bit lower, just because of kind of the frustration around the interior room pricing for a 3-day just to go to the Royal Beach Club, and then it wasn't even the first day that it was open. So,
Yeah.
and I get it. I get things happen, but that's where my head is at on this. So it's just, I hate spending that kind of money for such a short cruise.
It did also feel slightly bait and switch.
A little
so
bit, a little bit.
that was a frustration too.
Yep. So there we have it.
So when we tally up the scores for the ship, entertainment, food, service, and value, my score comes out to an average of 3.9 out of 5.
Mine, on the other hand, comes out to a solid 4 out of 5.
So in the end, is Liberty of the Seas the right ship for you?
Now, if you're looking for a top-tier service, fantastic main dining room food, and a great mid-sized ship to hit Coco Cay and the new Royal Beach Club, absolutely.
Now, if you can't get a good deal on the cruise fare, you may want to look at a different Royal Caribbean ship. We didn't feel our specific price was a great value, but once again, it was a holiday cruise, and we were one of the first ships to originally to be scheduled to go to Royal Beach Club. So be aware, Royal Caribbean often uses dynamic pricing.
Now, speaking of those beach stops, if you want to know what it's actually like to go to the all-new Royal Beach Club in Nassau, we'll leave a link down below and at the end of this video.
Or if you're heading to Perfect Day at Coco Cay and want to know which beach is the absolute best for you to set up your family, check out our full comparison right here.
Thanks for watching, and thanks for cruising with us, and we'll see you next week.